Hello, and welcome to another episode of Moments in History. In this video, we will look at the Battle of Greeks and Persians in 480 BC. This battle took place after the war at Thermopylae, in the narrow Strait of Salamis. This fierce battle is one of the greatest battles in the context of the Greco-Persian Wars. Now, who do you think will win one of the greatest battles? Will the Persians fail, or will the Greeks witness defeat like before? Let's find out. The Strait of Salamis is a narrow path that connects two huge bodies of water. The Saronic Gulf to the west, with the Attic Basin to the east. It's located between the Greek island of Salamis and the mainland of Attica in Greece. The strait is around 1.2 miles or 2 kilometers wide at its narrowest point. If you are wondering whether the strait still exists, yes, it does. It is located between the eastern coast of Salamis Island and the western coast of Attica, near the city of Piraeus in Greece. I would love to see that place where such a fierce battle in history took place. Let me know if you want to join me someday too. Now that we are clear about the Salamis Strait, let's discuss how the battle was initially planned and how it took place. After the Battle of Thermopylae, the Persian army marched south and captured the city of Athens, which had abandoned its inhabitants. The Persians then sacked and burned the city. The Athenians, along with the remaining Greek forces, retreated to the island of Salamis. After the Persians captured Athens, Xerxes realized that he could not rely solely on his army to defeat the Greeks. He needed to take control of the sea to cut off Greek supply lines and launch amphibious assaults. So he ordered his navy to assemble at the Saronic Gulf near the island of Salamis. The Persian fleet was enormous, consisting of hundreds of ships and many large warships. They definitely did not compromise on supplies when it came to war. On the other hand, the Greeks had a much smaller navy, but their ships were faster than the Persian ships. It was one of the greatest battles of the Greco-Persian Wars. Talking about that, do you know what the Greco-Persian Wars were? Let me tell you. The Greeks and the Persians had a long history of battles, and the starting to the ending battles were known as the Greco-Persian Wars. They took place between 492 and 449 BCE. The most famous battles of the war include the Battle of Marathon, 490 BCE, the Battle of Thermopylae, 480 BCE, and the Battle of Salamis, 480 BCE. The Persian Empire, led by King Xerxes I, sought to expand its territories into Greece, while the Greeks, led by Athens and Sparta, sought to defend their homeland and their way of life. Even though the Greeks had a smaller fleet, they would gain an advantage on the narrow Strait of Salamis. If you look at the battles of Greeks, they made their strategy based on the geography around them to defeat the odds that were against them. And for this part, I have to hand it to the Greeks. Before continuing the main events, let's look into the key figures who participated and influenced the entire battle. Themistocles. He was the Athenian general who led the Greek fleet and was instrumental in devising the strategy. He was the one who convinced all of the Greek states to unite in the battle so they could overcome the Persian army. Xerxes. You must have heard of him. He was the Persian king who commanded the Persian forces and was determined to crush the Greeks. Artemisia. She was the brave queen of Hyrcanassus and commander of the Persian navy, who fought bravely but ultimately sided with the Greeks. Eurybiades, the Spartan admiral who was initially against Themistocles' plan, but ultimately came to support him. After the Greeks participated in the battle, Themistocles was exceptional and unstoppable. He persuaded the Greeks to fight in the narrow waters of the Straits of Salamis, realizing that the Greek fleet would have an advantage there due to the limited maneuverability of the larger Persian ships. He then convinced the other Greek commanders to fight in that location, sent a message to the Persian king to deceive them into attacking, and led the center of the Greek fleet during the battle. directing his ships to ram into the Persian vessels and cause chaos in their formation. On the other hand, Xerxes ordered a contingent of Persian troops to land on the small island of Cydalia, located in the middle of the strait. This was intended to prevent the Greek navy from escaping through the strait and to provide a base for the Persian fleet to regroup. Thinking that the Persian navy was superior to the Greek navy, Xerxes ordered the Persian fleet to attack the Greek navy, which was stationed there. Themistocles was smarter, and the decision he made at this part was something that influenced the result of this battle in a huge way. As if he predicted their plan beforehand, he coordinated the Greek naval attack with the land forces on the island of Salamis, where they could launch a surprise attack on the Persian troops that were stationed there. After all the strategic battles, the physical combat started with ships ramming into each other and crews fighting hand-to-hand with swords and spears. The Greeks used their smaller, more maneuverable ships to outflank the Persians and attack them from multiple angles, while the Persians relied on their greater numbers to try to overwhelm the Greeks. The battle was chaotic and violent, with ships sinking and sailors drowning in the sea. The battle odds started to go against the Persians and with the Greeks when the Greeks were able to break through the Persian line and attack the ships from the rear. This caused confusion and panic in the Persian fleet, which was unable to maneuver effectively in the narrow strait. The Greeks took advantage of this chaos to inflict heavy losses on the Persians, ultimately forcing them to retreat. Before we reveal the result of the battle, who do you think will win the battle at this point? Let us know your opinion in the comments. After the Battle of Marathon in 490 BC, the Greeks had now won another important battle among the Greco-Persian wars. Yes, the Greeks won the Battle of Salamis. The Greeks were known for their physical strength, and after having the likes of Eurybiades as their fleet admiral and Themistocles as their leader, the Greeks finally conquered the battle. But the story doesn't end there. The aftermath is yet to be discussed. The Battle of Salamis had significant consequences for both the Greeks and the Persians. The Greeks were emboldened by their victory and were able to push the Persians out of Greece entirely, effectively ending the Persian threat to the region. The Persians suffered a major setback and were forced to regroup and rethink their strategy for dealing with the Greeks. The battle is often taken as a prime example of the importance of naval strategy and tactics in warfare. The Greeks, led by Themistocles, used their knowledge of the local waters to their advantage, luring the larger Persian fleet into a narrow strait where they could not maneuver effectively. This allowed the Greek ships to surround and attack the Persian vessels from all sides, resulting in a decisive victory. This battle of the Greco-Persian War had a great impact on other wars, which would influence future conflicts to be more strategic and tactical. Any battle would result in victory for one side, but that doesn't mean that the losing side didn't try their best. It was a brutal and harrowing experience for both the Greek and Persian soldiers involved. Many of them would have been young men, thrust into a violent and chaotic situation far from home. Despite the odds stacked against them, both sides fought valiantly and with great courage. The Greek sailors, in particular, were known for their skill and bravery in naval combat, often boarding and capturing enemy ships in hand-to-hand fighting. It is also worth noting that the Persian soldiers were not mere automatons, but complex human beings with their own fears, motivations, and desires. While they may have been on the wrong side of history, it is important to acknowledge their humanity and bravery as well. But even so, we cannot deny the fact that the Greeks won, and the Battle of Salamis was a pivotal moment in Greek history, marking the first major victory against the seemingly unstoppable Persian Empire. It helped to solidify the identity and unity of the Greek city-states, who would go on to form the backbone of Western civilization. The battle also had a lasting impact on Greek culture and literature, inspiring countless works of art, drama, and poetry. The story of the brave Greek sailors standing up to the mighty Persian Empire has become a symbol of resistance and freedom for people all over the world. From the American Revolution to the Arab Spring. Well, that ends today's video. I hope now you understand the meaning of the title of this video. If you had any confusion in any part, feel free to ask in the comments, or you can always rewind the video to that part, right? Anyways, make sure to give it a like as it encourages us to make more videos like this one. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. You can always change your mind, and it is absolutely free, so you might as well do it. Bye.